Hey, welcome everybody. Nice to
Hi.
see you. Welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday, Friday edition. Don't fret Friday, or don't flip on your flip flops and fall over on your face Friday.
Whoa.
And if you've done that, don't do that again. And then if you can, go into the past and don't do it then either, because that's not helpful to your face. Anyways, welcome. Nice to see you guys here. We got some old people coming back, like Saki. I haven't seen you in a long time. And some probably some new people and some uh comers that come pretty much every stream. Thank you guys for being here. Um, yeah. How you doing, Joe?
Oh man, I'm amazing. How about
Awesome.
you?
Oh, you look amazing.
I you
Um,
know, I
Thanks.
feel amazing.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I love you too, Bree. Nice to see you.
Hi Bree, hi Jono.
Oh wait, no, I think she was telling you that she loved you. That was for you. She
Well
said, "Hi
no, that
Ryan,
was
hi Joe, I love you." So she was pointing the "I love you" at Joe because that was the last word.
I'm
Was
pretty sure that's both of us. See, she said "ni."
"Nie, nein."
Ni.
She's speaking German now. Whoa. Um, nice. Hey Cody, hey
I love you
Jono,
too, Bree. You're
hey
awesome.
Keaton. Nice to see you guys. Uh, and
Enderboy
yeah, Enderboy.
7. Oh,
Yep.
wow.
Is Seft with us today?
Seth is here.
Okay, nice. Awesome. Well, we've got one from Seft.
Okay.
So just as a, for all of you that already know, and for those of you who don't, this is Don't Fret Friday, the show where we talk about the issues that you're dealing with today or this week or whatever. We're not here to necessarily give a whole lot of advice. We try our best at that, but we're not professionals. We're not police officers or psychiatrists or psychologists or anything along those lines. But we do our best to try to be a friend, give you maybe a different perspective. A lot of times you know what to do to help your own situation, but talking about it really helps. So we're here to encourage you mostly. Um, Most of you are smart enough to know what to do and how to figure out your situation and get through it. But sometimes just clearing the air by talking about the issue can totally make it so much easier to do the things we know we need to do. Um, so,
Hmm.
yeah. Anyhow, what do you say we jump right into it?
Yeah, I think that would be awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, and if you have anything like Princess, just put thank you, Princess. That we have Jesse as our producer, and so thank you to him
Hmm.
and Princess Yellow, who is also here, being our host for or hostess rather, putting up information for us and taking down your questions and putting them in the website for us.
Yes,
If
she's
you
the
have
hostess with the mostest.
with the mostest. And Cody's here too, being a host as well, I'm sure. Um, Welcoming everybody in. If you guys have any questions or issues you'd like to have us talk about, you can just write it into the chat or you can go to the website, put it there. That website is bss.studio. Or you can send an email to dww@bss.studio. And if you want to be anonymous, just say so and we will keep it anonymous for you.
Yes,
Um,
it
but
is
yeah.
tough to be anonymous in the chat.
Mhm. Yes, it is. So the email is probably the best route for that.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for being here, everybody. So we do have one from Seft, and Seft is here. Seft, would you like us to cover yours if you're still around? Let us know if you're still here. This comment or this topic is called drowning, and it's by Seft. Let
Mhm.
us know if you're still around. I saw you in here like 10 minutes ago. You said, for me, it's Saturday, 10 a.m. or so. If you're not around, then we'll just come back to you later. All right. Other than Sept, we have with us, let's see. In case any of these people are here, Angel, Dead, Akil, Jack, Science, Bree, Lay, and Knox. That's who we have questions from at the moment.
Mhm. And I know Bree's here.
Bree is here. I haven't seen Jack or Lay or Knox yet. Nor have I seen Akil, but I'm sure he'll be here.
Oh, hey, there's Seft.
Ah, Seft. Yes. Okay, cool. Seft, hey. Is it cool to cover the issue that you posted a little while back? It was on April 3rd. So it wasn't that long ago. I'm sure it's still relevant. But yeah, I just wanted to confirm that you were here before we did it. Yeah? Okay, yeah. You said yeah. Sweet.
So here's the link to it right there.
Thank you, Joe.
I think.
Give one to...
Oh, wait, no, that's not it. That's just to the main.
Haha, joke's on you guys. Now, all right, Princess got it.
Oh, Princess got it. Motherland.
Motherland. Where's okay. Here you go. Yes. There you go, Jessica Fro. Jessica Coon.
Ha! I got it. I did it too.
Oh, you did? Okay, perfect. Thanks, Joe. Thank you so much. I appreciate that second link.
And thank you, Princess, for getting there first, because you're awesome.
All right. So again, this is from Sept. It's called Drowning. They wrote this. For a long time, I felt like I've had a huge weight on my shoulders from all the pressure of work and school and my relationship and my household put. I also have to make sure I'm okay, and I just can't anymore. Getting into year 11, everything's just gone out the window, and I can't even put into the words. Yeah. Everything is just piling on top of me, and I just start feeling like I'm drowning, but I can't stop or take a break, or it'll keep piling up, and the feeling gets bigger, and my stress gets bigger, and I just want to stop and throw up, but also cry and scream. And it doesn't help that my PTSD keeps getting worse the more I have this feeling. Some days, I just lay in bed and try to forget that the world even exists. But that doesn't get rid of the feeling. It keeps getting worse and worse. I used to be able to get up in the morning feeling refreshed and ready for the day. But nowadays, when I wake up, it's to stress vomit. Eating has become a hassle. Nothing I do gets rid of the feeling. I can't do anything anymore. My life feels like I'm in a riptide and I can't get out. Yeah, so definitely sounds like you have too much on your plate, and you're trying to figure out, how do you function with all of this, especially the feeling of that constant stress of I'm not getting everything done. I have more than I can fit on my plate, even to the point where you just feel sick. Yeah, that's really rough. And I think at different times in our lives, a lot of us have to face this. I know that Joe probably can relate to this even more than I can, and probably has some really good words of wisdom on this matter, as he is such a busy and active person, and has more on his plate than most people, I should say. So
I don't know about that.
Well, we all have 24 hours in a day, right?
That's true. Yes.
Joe has 23, and he still tries to get everything done. No, okay. Anyways, yeah. I'm gonna let it over to Joe because I'm sure he has some good stuff to say on this matter. So, yeah. I feel for you, Seft, and hope we can help out.
Yeah. Wow, Seft. I definitely can relate to this issue. I remember when I was in high school, and there was a lot of stuff going on. I think I mean, it started to hit when I was in 11th grade, and then 12th grade, it really got crazy. But I was doing all kinds of things, getting ready for auditions for different music schools I was going to be auditioning for. Also, oh man, what was this? Let's see, my senior year, I had to stop working. I had a job, and then I had to stop working my job because I just had too much going on with school and with auditions. And I decided that, oh, and I was on the swim team. So for part of the year, there was that. And then also, then there was band and orchestra. And I decided I'd write an orchestral piece that year. And I decided I'd join a drum and bugle corps. So that was for the weekends. something to do on the weekends. And I just remember it just got to this point where there was so much happening that I really had to learn how to focus. And when I was doing something, I had to learn how to focus on what I was doing. Now, eventually, what would happen was I would burn out periodically. Like I would go and go and go and go and go crazy. And then I would just burn out and I would just sleep for a day or something, you know. And it, you know, interestingly enough, that still happens now as an adult, because as Ryan said, I keep myself pretty busy. I've got a lot going on that, you know, I want to get done. And it seems like it's mostly self-imposed. Like I bring all of this stuff on to myself, and then I have to figure out how to sort it out and do it. But so I'll work and work and work, and then eventually every once in a while I have a day where I just crash and I rest, because now I have a wife and kids and they take energy, and I'm also in martial arts with my kids, and I'm taking them to different stuff. You know, my youngest son's in gymnastics, my oldest son is playing baseball. We also have martial arts. And then in there, I have my inspections business, and also everything that I'm trying to get done for Black Static and Swerve. So with all of that, it turns into this crazy, you know, just glob of stuff. Now, I'm 41, so it's taken me until now to try and figure this out, and I still haven't quite figured it out. So, with that, I understand how you can feel like you're drowning. I totally understand how you can get overwhelmed. And sometimes, sometimes the tasks themselves aren't the things that are overwhelming us. Sometimes it's just our feelings that can be overwhelming. And I experienced this not too long ago, and it was basically, it wasn't tasks piling up on me, but it was bills and different things. We've run into some health care issues this year, and so a lot of bills have been piling up, and you know, so we've just been trying to hammer away at them as best we can. But there was a time recently where I felt that pressure, that overwhelm of the stress of all of this piling up and not seeing a way to get through it. And I remember the feeling, and the feeling is the big issue. And it kind of, no matter what's going on in your life, Seth, you are capable of a lot more than you probably give yourself credit for. You are capable of handling a lot of stuff. And like Ryan said right before I started talking, was that we all have 24 hours in a day. That's, all of us have the same amount of time. And there are people that get absolutely nothing done in that 24 hours. And there are people that get monstrous amounts of things done in that same 24-hour period. And I think a lot of it has to do with how we feel. Now, we can get caught up in our feelings, and they can run away with us. But when we finally realize that our feelings are in fact under our control, we get to decide our feelings. Now, sometimes it's hard because we've made a habit out of feeling a certain way, or there's a lot of things happening to us and we're reacting. It's kind of like a knee-jerk reaction. We don't know how to handle a situation, so it stresses us out because we think it's like this really critical thing, and if we don't handle it properly, maybe the world's going to fall apart, or a piece of the world's going to fall apart, and we don't want all that to fall apart. And so it stresses us out because we feel like it's so important. But the cool thing is, I'll tell you from my personal experience, when I learned that I was in charge of my feelings, then each time I'm confronted with that feeling of being overwhelmed, I get there in that stressful moment for a while, and I'm stuck there for a while, and then eventually my brain remembers. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm in charge of these feelings. I can control this. And so then I immediately, when I realize it, sometimes it takes me a while to realize it, but then when I do realize it, I start to work at changing it, turning that around. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's good about this situation? And I remember specifically with the overwhelm recently, where the bills, and it was just such a huge challenge. And then I was super stressed. And then I remembered, wait a minute, I can choose my feelings here, and then that'll change the situation. The way I feel about it will impact the situation differently. And so I reminded myself, wait a minute, this is a challenge. I like challenges. And I just started to reinforce that thought in my mind. I like challenges. I can, I've overcome challenges before. This is just another challenge. And I like these. And I kept reminding myself that I like them, even though they're difficult and stressful and hard. I just kept reminding myself that I like them. And so, when I changed my feelings about the situation, it was then that I was able to think a little bit more clearly and start to do the things that would move the ball forward. And I had to take it bit by bit. Sometimes you gotta chop it up into small pieces and just take one little piece at a time. Like getting out of bed. Maybe that's the first thing. Maybe it's just sticking your foot out from under the covers. That might be the first step. Maybe it's picking up your hand and reaching over to the lamp on your bedside table or something. Or, taking one blanket off of your upper body.
One blanket.
One blanket. And if you live where I live, you have more than one blanket over you, or else you're really cold.
Yes. 3 at minimum.
3 at minimum. Yes. But so sometimes you got to get down to that point of the very, very beginning. Now, Seth, I don't know if you've heard me recommend this book before, but a lot of people in the chat have heard me recommend this book before, and it's called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And I will look for a link to it when Ryan's talking, and I'll post it in the chat. Excuse me. But that book really helped. It helped me to figure out, all right, if I can start my day properly, then I get a whole lot more done and I feel better about it. And it doesn't have to take a long time. Like, you can do this in just a few minutes, like the whole Miracle Morning process in just a few minutes. You really can. And just starting with that simple little process will get you thinking in the right direction and get you, it'll take a lot of the pressure off, which is the main problem, right? The problem is the pressure. But when you have the confidence that you're going to be able to overcome all this stuff and you'll be able to organize it in a way that you can handle it, it takes the pressure off, and then you can really actually function. Now, here's another thing. You may have to learn how to say no to things, because that was another thing that I had to learn in the process of getting way stressed out and burning myself out and all that kind of stuff. What I had to eventually learn was, all right, I can't say yes to everything that comes my way. Stuff comes my way, I have to learn how to say no. I have to learn how to say, nope, I'm not able to do that because I have other prior commitments, and then you come up with your priorities. What's the most important things for me to do? And then the other stuff just has to get set aside. And, and then I have to say no. In fact, it's funny because with my inspections clients, I say no to them more than I say yes when they call me and they're offering more work, which means more money. But more times than not, I say no. Because it's like, nope, I've already got a full schedule. I've already got this going on. Like, I cannot take anything extra from you right now. And so I have to tell you no. And I don't necessarily explain that to them, but that's what goes on in my head. So hopefully that's enough to get started. I'm going to turn it back over to Ryan, and I'm going to find that book link for you, Seft. And yeah, I'm looking forward to hear what Ryan has to say.
Yeah, actually, before you do that, Joe, I've got 2 questions for you.
For me?
Yeah, 2 questions for you that aim to help Seft.
Okay.
First, well, they're really the same question, but different sides of it. So, what are things that you do personally that help increase your energy level, both physically and mentally? Things that instill the habit of increased energy level, so that you don't feel like just sitting in bed, or doing nothing, so that you have the mental strength and the physical strength, the energy, the physical energy that you need, that mental energy that fuels your physical energy. What kind of things do you do, or think about that help you power through those times where it's just stressful and there's too much on your plate?
That's good. That's a really good question. One thing you can try, one thing that I haven't done in a while, but I know really helped me out a lot was it's called the Wim Hof breathing method. And I'll spell it here. Wim Hof. The Wim Hof breathing method, it's a way of fully oxygenating your body. Like you end up through this process, you fill your bloodstream full of so much oxygen. It's crazy. Like, you can sit there after you do this for a little while, like you just sit there and don't breathe for a long time because your body doesn't need any oxygen. So you just automatically don't breathe for a while.
That's interesting.
It is. It's really weird. And it's crazy. Like, you get your hands tingle and your face tingles, and you got to do it lying down because you might get lightheaded and fall over and stuff. So, but anyway, that's one thing you can do to energize yourself. But I haven't done that in a while. What I've been doing lately is just exercise, a regular regimen of exercise. And I've got that even boiled down now to a 5-minute exercise regimen, which is just like, I can work every muscle group and do cardio in 5 minutes. And because I'm busy, I don't have time to do a whole lot of stuff. So you can do a lot in just 5 minutes of exercise. And then also, I think the main thing is have a dream or a goal or something that you're running after. Like, you have some future accomplishment that you can see and you're like, okay, that's what I'm shooting for. And that, no matter what, I'm going to spend some thought time there. And I do that every morning. Like, when I first wake up, I spend some time in prayer and silence and meditation, and I read scripture, and so I do a little bit of reading, and then I focus on my goals. What am I running after? What am I shooting to accomplish here? And so I focus on that. That gives me a little bit of energy. And then 5 minutes of pretty rigorous exercise. And then I'm off, and I'm doing whatever I got to do. So I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that was great. Um, yeah, I think.
And oh,
Yeah,
by the way, I gotta say, CJ Rose, I like what you're posting here about breathe in positivity, breathe out negativity. That's a really good thing to visualize. While you're doing any kind of deep breathing, you can think of, I'm breathing in positive, clean energy, and I'm breathing out all the junk that I don't want anymore. I'm getting rid of that, and I that's that's a really, really awesome thing. So thank you, CJ. Anyway, Ryan, take it away.
yeah. No, that's great. Thank you, Joe. I'll let you find that book now.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, Seth. Um, yeah, honestly, I don't have a whole lot to add to what Joe said. I mean, you can go back and re-listen to it in case that sometimes when we re-listen to something we've already heard, every once in a while we catch something new, and it's like, oh wait, I didn't notice that before that they could have meant this also, um, and it gives us some ideas. One of the things that fuels us is our ideas. Um,
Mm.
Having a positive look in life, or rather having an opportunistic look, or even a wondrous look out in life, is a lot of times what fuels us most. Um, when we're curious about something, that curiosity causes us to move. When we're not sure like the outcome of something, but we're excited, like, oh, I wonder if I do this and this, what would happen? I think that's one of the things that helps fuel Joe a lot of the times. Um, for example, he's willing to try out different things like the Wim Hof method, or willing to try out not sleeping as much to the point where he sleeps 3 hours a day or something, and then things go
I can
haywire.
I can't do 3 hours anymore. I
Yeah,
tried this week a couple times.
yeah. Did
I
you
can't.
really?
I couldn't do it. Those days
Yeah.
ended up really awful.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. But see, he's willing to try these things out because he has a mind that enjoys trying things out. And having that sort of uh, taste for trying things out can help us fuel our energy inside, so that we have the desire to go out into the world and do things. Um, Seth, I know you have a lot on your plate with work and school. Um, one of the things that can make us feel that stress is a dislike for those things, or when it doesn't feel like it pays off, or you're doing it just because you have to, not because you want to, right? When you're doing those things because you have to, and you really don't want to, it can become really hard emotionally to get up in the morning like you're talking about. So one of the things that Joe is talking about is kind of reframing your mind. um, Try to, not just trying to say try to positive, but beyond that, um try to find the good in it, um because that can compel you to want to do it. There is um there is joy and honor to be had in working. Work is something that builds up your character. When you work, you're not just trying to pay the bills. You're actually becoming a stronger individual. You're growing in many different areas, whether that be your ability to relate with people, or that being your ability to understand finances, or your ability to hone your talents. There are many different things that you do while you're at your workplace, whatever your workplace is, that you are building up inside of you. You're increasing your talents, increasing your knowledge, increasing your abilities, and there's an honor. That's kind of glorifying, if you will. It's a good thing, and you should make sure that you don't get in the mindset of work is just money. Um, because you'll just crash. You try to remember that work, yes, it is for the money, but it's also um, a good thing that you can do that increases who you are as an individual, um, and that you should be um, have a sense of joy when it comes to work. And the same thing goes for school, obviously. Uh, School is designed to build you up. Now, of course, we could talk, for hours about the school system and what it lacks
Mhm,
and where it could grow, things like that. But um, regardless of how the school system is, it still helps us.
mhm.
We can take the opportunity of school and making it to something good or making it to something bad. But you have that choice based on how you want to treat your schooling. If you look at your school in a positive light and say, it's helping me grow in these areas, it's making me become it's helping me to experience the world, experience other people, experience um, study and things like this, right? Um, and you take that look and say, okay, it's making me grow as a person, which is going to help me out throughout all of my life. Even if I never have to do, I don't know, chemistry, I'm taking chemistry, but I never have to do it for the rest of my life. Still, it does help. And in fact, believe it or not, um, you think you'll never have to do chemistry again, but you probably will. Like I started writing a story, and all of a sudden, when I started writing the story, I'm like, wow, I have to go back and dig up some old things I used to know, like some things I learned, but at least I know where to find them. Because if I never took school, I would have no idea how that I would even need to look for these things, for like the chemical structure of certain plants, or animals, or how tanning leather works, not just like how you do it, but even beyond that, how does it work chemically? How does that even happen? Um, all that kind of stuff, right? And only because I'm writing a story and my story happened to involve those things, and I want to make sure that it's legitimate. I want to make sure that I've done my work so that when someone reads the book and they're looking at it, they're like, hey, this actually adds up. This is actually how you do tanning, and this is actually why it works. And I can include that within my storytelling. Um, and so you never know, no matter what fields you go into, you never know what kind of information you're going to need. But one of the cool things about that is when you need the information, now you have something to rely on, something in your past to build up on. And it's actually a lot of fun. You think that, wow, looking into, chemical details or whatever, when you're not really into chemistry, like, I'm not. Um, It'd be boring, but really it's a lot of fun because I'm writing a story and it's like all of a sudden it's fun to learn these things, right? Um, so my whole point here in all of this and saying all this is if you can get your mind to see the opportunities in the future, to realize where you are now is not where you're always going to be, but where you are now is building you up for something even greater in the future. I would start envisioning what those greater things are. Like Joe said, when he wakes up in the morning, one of the first things he does is he envisions the future. He thinks about what does he want to do? Where does he want to go with his life? What things does he want to do for others? How can he build others up in this world? How can he add value to this world? What are his dreams? What are his goals? And if you do that in the morning, you're going to have the mind that keeps you on track and gives you the energy to fuel you throughout the day and help lower that stress level. A lot of that stress comes from you kind of eating like eating yourself up inside, like you're kind of like beating yourself up inside in a way, even if you're not like being mean to yourself, but you might be. um when you aren't building yourself up for the task at hand, then you feel that stress. So you have to make sure you build yourself up inside, and understand, hey, all of this is for a reason. And this is going to take me places that I didn't even know I was going to go. But it's going to be awesome. Um, so a lot of it is just that mental energy, that mental battle.
Mhm.
And the way you uh, beat that mental battle is by changing your perspective. changing what you're fighting for. What are you fighting for? Keep envisioning that. What are you fighting for? And if you don't know what you're fighting for, awesome. Now you know what you need in order to start lowering your stress levels.
Hmm.
It's just that one thing. What are you fighting for? You just ask yourself that question. And it might not be easy to find that answer at first. But a good place to start is, well, what kind of passions do you have in life? What kind of things do you like? You have these things for a reason, and you have your passions for a reason. You're supposed to use those passions for good, and you can. So, asking yourself, what do I like in life? What kind of hobbies do I enjoy? What kind of things do I like to see in other people? Um, what you know, how can I help other people with my talents that I have? Asking these types of questions will help lead you to the answer of, what am I fighting for?
Mhm.
What am I going to do with my life to help make this world an awesome place and help make my life awesome? In that, um, you know, I think that's really the main thing, purpose. Um, because without a purpose, you feel like you're doing it all for nothing. And then you're not going to have that mental energy. So find that purpose. We all have reasons for existing. We all have things that we can do in the world that are amazing, that add to the value of everybody, that increase the good in the world and make the world a more beautiful and more enjoyable place for everybody. We all are capable of that. Even if that just means going out and having a conversation with a stranger. And all you say is, "Hey, I like your shoes." And it makes their whole day better.
Mhm.
Well, you added value to the world just by doing that, because you made someone feel better. Um, and that carries throughout the rest of their day, right? That changed their attitude. Now their attitude is going to be good, and maybe they tell something nice to somebody else. Simple as that. Um, or it can be as complex as, "Hey, I'm the one that solved the certain virus, or whatever in the medical field. You know, I came up with the antidote." It can be as complicated as that, but we all have things that we can do in the world that change the world for other people,
Mhm.
and that's beautiful. Um, and you have that. I don't know what your talents are. I don't know what your passions are, but in you is everything you need to make the world good,
Mhm.
a beautiful place, to be a force for good, to to change lives. And you think you might never change anybody's lives, but I'll tell you what, you already have. With the amount of work that you put in already and you're stressing yourself out over, I bet you're changing lives even more than you know. Um, Take a look around you and maybe notice some of the people that you're impacting for good. Be a good have a good attitude and at your workplace, and help other people to have a good attitude. I think that's one of the best things you can do while you're at your workplace is just have a good attitude and cheer other people up, cheer other people on, and say, "Hey, man, you can do it." Like, "Hey, you're doing an awesome job with whatever your work is." Putting that into people is makes a huge difference.
Mhm.
So, anyways, I know I rambled about a bunch of random things, or I said the same thing like 15 times, but
You did
yeah,
awesome.
you did awesome. Thanks. You
That
too,
was
Joe.
no, what you said was extremely relevant and pertinent. And one of the things to that I'm glad you reminded Seft about was that you know each one of us has something special. Each one of us is something special,
Uh
and
huh.
we have something to offer the world. And even like especially in those times when you don't really know what it is. I love that you said, "Hey, now you know what you need to do is start digging and start figuring some of that out. Start figuring what you're good at." And yeah, like that is so important. One quote I heard recently that I heard a long time ago and again recently was our minds are very powerful. They can make a heaven out of hell and a hell out of heaven. Because no matter what the circumstances are going on all around you in your life, your mind can determine how you feel about it. Yeah. And so no matter, like, you can be going through just a painful, ridiculously hard time, but if your thinking is right, you know, you'll be excited, you'll be upbeat, and you'll be moving through it, and all this stuff is going on, and be like, you know what, that's okay, we'll figure it out, you know, we're going to keep moving forward, you know, and you'll have this great attitude through it all. Or there are people that I know that have like everything. They have a huge house, and they've got tons and tons of money, and they don't have any debt, and they've got cars, and they've got stuff, and, you know, and they seem to have it all put together, and they don't have any stress like that. But inside, man, they seem like wretched souls, because their attitude is terrible, and their lives are really sad and full of anger and depression and despair, and they've got everything that we can imagine would make somebody happy, whether it's fame or money or, you know, time with their family, all that kind of stuff. But because of what's going on in their mind, that heavenly situation has turned into a hell for them. And so your mind is going to play a big part in it. Oh, I did find the link here. Let me post that there. That's a link to the Miracle Morning book by Hal Elrod. Yeah, what he did in that book is he boiled down, there are 6 things that successful people do, and people that achieve, that are high achievers, that they do on a regular basis. And he boiled it down into this morning ritual, basically, where you can take, you know, I mean, you can take an hour to do it, or you can take 6 minutes to do it, or, you know, whatever. But he boiled it down to this little ritual, this little morning routine that you can do. And what all that does is it sets you up for a day of being productive and being active and having a good attitude and doing all that. Oh man, I totally lost my train of thought. But I would definitely take a look into that book. I know it's free on Kindle Unlimited. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can just download it, or you can listen to it on Audible for free if you still qualify for a free Audible trial. That's available too, or you can buy it. But that book, I'll tell you, when I read that, it made such a huge impact on me. And I started getting up earlier and being excited about getting up early, because I knew I was going to do this, and because I knew I was going to go through this. And, you know, it's really interesting, because one of the things that was super important as I was learning this stuff, the most important thing I had to learn was how to forgive myself when I didn't have a top-notch day. Very recently, I had a day like that, where I was like, you know what? I've got this time set aside for this day. I'm going to get all this stuff done. I'm going to get a whole bunch of work on some of these projects done, and it's going to be great. And then, you know, one thing happened, another thing happened. I got pulled in this direction, that direction. I had phone calls to make. I had phone calls to take. There were emails, you know, coming through, and just one thing after another. And I got pulled in all these directions. And by the end of the day, I felt like I had barely done anything. And it was just like, where did that time go? That was ridiculous. And there was a time I would have been depressed about that for a week, because I had a bad day like that, because I had one day where I didn't get done all the things I wanted to get done. I wasn't on top of my game that day. And I had to learn, you know what? I can't change it. I can't go back and do anything about it. It happened. That was the way it was. You know, I actually, you know, I have these words written down, and it says, can't change it. I have to remind myself of that sometimes I can't change it. It happened. I can't change it. I can't change what happened. All I can do is move forward. And if I spend a bunch of time being upset about that thing that happened, I'm not going to be in a proper thinking mode for moving forward. So me being disappointed and overwhelmed and stressed and just upset with myself, that is actually going to cause me to do worse in the future. The best way is to just take that, set it aside, let it roll off your back. You know what? It happened. Now I know what to avoid next time. And tomorrow I'm going to hit it again, and I'm going to do the best I can. You know, I've got what opportunity do I have tomorrow? And you get into that habit of looking forward like that. So yeah, that's Seth, you've been kind of quiet in the chat. I don't know if you're still here or if you've just been listening. Either way, I hope some of this information was helpful for you. But definitely check out that book, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. He's got a new book coming out recently. I pre-ordered it. It's called The Miracle Equation. And it's kind of like the next step in some of this stuff. And I can't wait to get it. It comes out on Tuesday, actually. So I'm excited to get my hands on it and read it. But yeah, Seth, thank you so much for posting. That was a really good thing to go over.
Yeah. Thanks, Seth. Hopefully some of that's helpful. And that helps you on your way to recovering from your current situation. Yeah. So good luck out there.
Mm-hmm.
We love you. And thanks for tuning into our Don't Worry Wednesday, Don't Freak Out Friday program. We appreciate that.
Round of applesauce for the person posting. Yes, Lay.
Round of applesauce. Been a while.
Yes.
Nice.
CJ Rose, what's this? What's the Book of Awesome?
The book
is that an actual book, or is it?
Yeah, is it?
Or who's it by?
Sounds kind of familiar though. I don't know.
Sounds like it's cool. I'm gonna look it up actually right now. What do we have next?
Yeah, I was about to get to that. So I don't know if they're here, but Angel, we've got Akil is here. Jack, I don't know if they're here or not. Science is definitely here. Bree, I believe, is here still, even though I haven't seen her post a little bit. Lay, of course. Knox and Keaton. So, yeah. Akil, we have a couple from Akil. I figured, hey, why not at least cover one today from Akil, right? Yeah, and then we can move on to Breeze if she's still here, and then Lace.
Bree is still here.
Cool.
Yes,
awesome.
by Neil Pasricha.
No, it's Italian. Say it again.
Pasricha.
Okay, I don't know. I'm just kidding. It might not be.
Here it is. I found it. Watch this.
Oh.
Bang.
Oh, there's the link, huh?
I'm Mr. Linky.
Linky,
Blinky, Winky, and Stew or something. I'm yeah. Pasrica.
It's Puerto Rican. Nice.
Linky Joe.
It was Linky and Linky. All right, Akil, which one are we doing today? Which one do you want us to do? You don't get a choice. You just have to pick one. You don't get a choice of whether we do it or not, but you have to pick one. So do you want us to do, let's see here. We've got Sepner or Sepnir. Whispers. Which one did we do last time?
Noir leaked Gris.
Yeah.
It says to do.
Okay, perfect. Is that French?
Looks like it.
Okay.
Princess, did you already post the thing? Oh my gosh, you're so fast.
Yeah, dang. Slow down.
Wow.
Just kidding. You're good. Thank you.
Wow.
There you are, Jisakun. And all right. This is by Akil Noir Lick Gris. I have no idea how to pronounce that, so forgive my French, literally. If it's French, even. Okay. It reads this. It reads as this. I didn't know if it was because I'm finally home or my body reaching the limit, but I crashed hard. Maybe it was better back when I can't sleep, though, or I couldn't sleep, though, because what was supposed to be my rest now turned out to be a series of nightmares. Having mental health reasons, I had to apply for a special leave for 6 months. It has been a week since then, and even tonight, I have a high chance of nightmares. This was supposed to be a chance to recollect myself, to set myself straight, and possibly choose to pursue another course, but nothing felt right. The nightmares drained me instantly in the mornings. Oh wait, in quotes he wrote, oh wait, let me put on some goof on my face. There, all better. I laughed. I laughed and laughed again, but they weren't satisfying. I have a kitchen to work with again, but I forgot what I love about food. I remember the tastes, but not the joy they bring. I remember the ingredients I used, but not the reasons I did. Surprise, surprise, my go to was steadily slipping away from my grasp of understanding. Even writing right now is way harder than it needed to be. So imagine me trying to be creative these days. I currently lack a lot of things, but I can't pinpoint them down. I can't think properly. I started to type like an idiot. I tried way too hard when was supposed to just be myself. Be myself. What is that supposed to mean? What was I doing to be so eager in coming back home? I think I had several things going on, but I'm hesitant. Oh, yeah, I was supposed to write something. My father is a big bookworm. One day he's going to read my works and he will enjoy it. It's not just for him. It's not even for myself. It's for a cause. At one point in life, I had a lot of confidence in writing English. Surprisingly enough, it was around that time that I noticed my syllabus using foreign literature works instead of local submissions. As much as I was interested in learning about the rest of the world and their English, I also wanted to have pride in our local works. When did I run out of ink? When did I drop my pen? Why did I stop? For a cause, these words in this particular order did bear more significance than only my writing dream. Ah, yes. I remember even more childish dream now. I wanted peace. Such naivety. That's a weird word to say. Such naivety, such foolishness. I guess I do have all the memories, just lacking the feeling behind them. I know what was younger. I know that I know what the younger me was thinking, but I don't know how he was feeling. I know very well that my exposure to an even greater diversity of people led me to very unique growth of myself as a person. I just can't seem to wrap my head around it. What could he have felt? What made him so determined? Curious. Am I becoming an empty person? Is that why I wasn't wanting to be proactive in things? Is that why I wasn't feeling feeling like doing anything? Yet the voices speak a lot of different things. Of course, I had to mention them. After all, who would be guilt tripping me in my dreams if not them and multiple personalities of myself, right? I may be in my hometown right now, but this doesn't feel like where my heart is. In fact, I know where my heart should feel, or if it is still around right now. Sorry, oh, I don't know where my heart should be or should feel, or if it is still around right now. I don't feel completely void, just a bit hollow in the middle. A small black hole taking everything in without ever spitting anything back out. When there's light, there's shadow, but darkness existed long before both. One of these days, a new creation will be upon me, spark of light that'll also birth a shadow every time. This might bring up a story about life and its end, death. The later, the latter was evenly, if not more, familiar to me. But as I said before, that will be for a different topic. May God's peace be upon you. And there you go. That was from Akil. A very, once again, beautiful read, poetic, and very introspective. And I really like that about Akil's posts.
Mhm.
It's always really, it's like a ride to read them, because there's so much going on, so much to talk about, um, so many different facets of life that go into these works, if you will. If you want to call them works, I would, because typing this out would definitely take a lot of time, I feel, um,
Mhm.
with the way that you write it out. So nice job, Akil. And yeah. Um, so there's a lot going on here. A lot of trying to re-feel what you used to feel about different things, or how come you don't feel them anymore, um, even though you have dreams or desires or a cause, um, not having that feeling or that motivation to power you through it, um, is a struggle for, I mean, everybody at some point in life. And so that's definitely something worth talking about. And yeah, um, I think that's really the main focus here, right? So um, yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say and much more than that, but I'm eager to see what Joe has to say about the whole topic.
Well, one thing I have to say is that I'm glad to hear that you're writing.
Hmm.
Akil, you do have a way with words. You're a tremendous writer. Now, interestingly enough, there are a lot of people who don't write as well as you that are best-selling authors.
Hmm.
Interestingly enough, there's a business author named Robert Kiyosaki, and he told a story about meeting this young lady at he was on a book tour, or he was at a convention where his book was being sold, and there's whatever, and she had known he was an author, and she came, and she had the guts to give him a small sample of her writing so he could peruse it and see if he could offer any advice or any thoughts on it. um and he read it and he said, wow, this is really, really good writing. Like, this is way better than my writing. And so he said, I think, man, I think you need to get a job in sales. And she was like, what? He's like, yeah, like, your writing is awesome, but you need to get some kind of training in sales. You need to get a job in sales, or some kind of training in sales and marketing and stuff like that. And she's like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm a writer, not a salesperson. And he said, notice what is next to my name. You see in the lights, Robert Kiyosaki, best-selling author. What you don't see is Robert Kiyosaki, best writing author. And his point was that you write tremendously. There are a lot of people who write tremendously. But if you don't have a way to get it out to the world, then it's not going to be a career. So that was just a thing to say, Akil, if you're writing and like, you could write some tremendous memoirs, I think, just from the experiences you've had and different, I think that there'd be a lot of things. Okay, Akil says, actually, I haven't been able to produce anything. I can't write a post today. I had several whispers of inspirations, but I can't put anything on paper or my phone. My hands have several moments. Okay, and maybe the post is continued, but no, I understand that. I've been there before where I've been stuck. Generally, that's with music, where I'm not where I'm not producing. I feel like I should, and it's frustrating. But I'm telling you, if you can take the beginning, you can start with what you're posting in some of these, and you can expand on some of these, and you could write a whole bunch of great stuff, Akil. Mm-hmm. And there is material available that can teach people how to market their books. First, how to write them, and then how to promote them and market them, how to self-publish, all that kind of stuff. In fact, there's a course I use a program called Simpleology, and that's to kind of keep my stuff organized. But he's also produced a whole bunch of different courses, and they're available in the software. If you have like if you get the paid version of the software, then there's all these courses available. And one of them is how to become a best-selling author, how to write, and then almost more importantly, you got to have a good product, first of all, but then you got to be able to promote it, and you got to be able to get it out there. You got to be able to do all the different things. And in the digital age, you don't need a big publisher. In fact, the guy I was talking about before, Hal Elrod, this book, the new one that's just coming out now on Tuesday, it's like his 13th book.
Wow.
And there are numerous bestsellers in that 13. And this number 13 is the very first one that's been published by a major publishing company. All the other ones have been self-published, and then maybe farmed out to like small publishers or something like that. But I mean, you can publish an ebook for practically nothing, and then you can sell it, and then it can bring you an income, which is cool. I mean, it's not all about the income. It's also about getting stuff out there, and it can be therapy for you as well. But one of the things they say that writers talk about to cure their writer's block, if you're stuck and you're not able to write, you're not able to get stuff out there, is just sit down with some paper and a pen and just start doodling. Just put the pen on the paper and move it. And then eventually the action then brings you the inspiration. Inspiration and action go hand in hand. And a lot of times we think we need inspiration first if we're going to get into action. And that's simply not the case. We have it backwards. More times than not, you start with action. And while you're doing something, inspiration starts to come, and then you're like, oh my gosh, and then it moves in a direction, and you never even thought that it was going to move in that direction. It's exciting, and something new that you've never thought of before starts to flow out of you. And it was because you just started with the physical, mechanical action of writing. I've had that happen so many times with guitar playing. I actually look. I gotta look at this. How many of these are? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. Okay, so there was a time when I was like, okay, I'm just going to. I was frustrated because I wasn't making any music, and I'm watching Ryan. He's making all this stuff. He's got Criminal Idol series. He's got It's Not Like I Like You. He's filling up our private server with all these songs in progress. I mean, just ridiculous. So You asked where to find Sea Pearl. At this point, the only place to find it, unfortunately, is a folder called Works, it's like Songs in Progress.
Yeah. Not even a finished songs in
It's
progress,
not right.
but it's here for you guys. Yeah.
But I was watching him produce all this stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, it inspired me that I wanted to do that too. I was like, there was times when I was writing a lot of songs and I'd gotten away from that. And so you know what I did? I just started setting down for myself. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just play for 30 minutes, every day or every other day or however many times a week or something like that. It was just, I put it in my schedule where I'm going to play for 30 minutes and I'm going to set a timer and I'm going to stop after 30 minutes. And I only did that for about 3 weeks. And in those 3 weeks of doing that, I wrote 9 songs. I didn't write words for them. I just wrote like the music part of it, right? But it was such a testament. I was like, that's it. Like action generally precedes inspiration. We think we need to be inspired in order to create something, but no, we start playing or we start writing or we start drawing, and then the inspiration flows from us doing that. And before you know it, you're like, wow, like I look at these songs that I wrote and I'm like, how did I ever come up with that? And I know it just was me messing around and playing, maybe just playing nothing, playing something that I had played a long time ago. And then it moved in a totally different direction. And all of a sudden, something new came out of it. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. But it's so true. And I know there was a lot more in your post than just stuff about writing. But, I was inspired to talk about your writing and how excited I get when I hear about you writing. The thing that really stuck out when you're like, oh, yeah, I was supposed to write something. My father's a big bookworm. One day he's going to read my works and he will enjoy it. It's not just for him. It's not even for myself. It's for a cause. And man, I saw that and I was like, dude, we've got a future best-selling author right here in our chat room. Right here. He's a member on our website, future best-selling author. And I'm like, that just amazed me. And because you've got the writing ability, Akil, you've got a way with words that draws people in, and it's rich with feeling. And so when you're there, when you're reading these posts, like you really get into the depths of the feeling of what's going on. And that is tremendous. You got great skill there, Akil. And I hope you keep going. And then maybe we can talk about this further, but I want to turn it over to Ryan and see what he's got to say.
Sure.
Wait, you said you didn't really have anything.
What? Oh yeah, no, I don't have anything.
No. What do you got, Ryan?
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for us today. No. Yeah. No. On that note, it's you wrote this. You were writing that your hands. You wrote in chat that when you put your hands to the paper, your gestures are telling you something. Like you have an idea. Then when you grab your phone, nothing happens. And then you said your mind told you, like, yo, what are your hands doing? Is that a new idea for a story? Yeah, here's the thing. Like, just like Joe was talking about, I sit down at the piano. I go to play my koto over there. You can see my koto right here.
Mm-hmm. It's coming out of his head.
Yeah, it's protruding from his head. Yeah, and hold on, let me move this so you can see him better. There you go. Anyways, yeah, I just sit down, play those for a while, and then ideas just start popping in my head. And what I do is I take my phone out and I press that record button, and I record my ideas because I use them for later. But just like Joe was talking about, you know, your ideas create your inspiration. Sorry, your actions create your inspiration.
Mhm.
Inspiration comes from action. Inspiration might lead you to more action, but ultimately, inspiration is a response. It's an emotional response to something else in the physical world, whether that be your own actions, the actions of others, or just physical properties lying about. Maybe you see a light bulb, and that light bulb, it's a silly example, gives you a light bulb, and you're like, "Oh, I have an idea." Or maybe you see like, maybe you find a piece of sea glass on the ground at a beach, and you're like, "Wait a minute, huh? Interesting." Sea glass is a strange property of matter. It's like the way it's formed. It kind of gives me an idea for a story. What if I took a story and I made it about the sea glass? The sea glass's travels throughout, like random things, right? That's inspiration comes from an outside source, not something that it's there to fuel us. But if we wait for inspiration before we act, we'll likely never act. So that's on the note of just writing. Writing what you have. Here's the thing. So you said this. You're unsure about being yourself. What is being yourself mean? And you have this constant feeling like you don't have the emotions behind your convictions. You want to do good. You want to do a lot for other people. You want to write for a cause, right? But those emotions are missing. That you have nothing emotional compelling you to do those things. All right. Here's a little secret about myself, all right? Pretty much any song I've written, I've had no emotions behind it. But you know what? When people listen to my song, it gives them emotions.
Mm.
When I write my song, it's like when you write this post. You aren't necessarily feeling a whole lot of emotion, but you're contemplating. And your contemplation is written down for people to read, and that causes other people to have emotions. That causes other people to contemplate.
Mm.
When I write a song, I'm not worried about the emotions and what I'm worried a little bit about what I'm conveying. So I contemplate my song, right? That's step one. I contemplate my song. I contemplate, okay, what do I want to write about? What kind of feeling do I want to project onto people? What kind of story am I writing, right? I contemplate those things. What kind of message can I send to help other people? I contemplate those things, start writing them down, and then I produce the song. And when I produce the song, I think, okay, how can I say this sentence so that it will wring other people's emotions out of them? Instead of speaking this line, or instead of singing this line like I'm normal might, maybe I can sing this line with a specific attitude, like a subtle cry, as if I'm singing from my heart. Even though I'm not technically having the emotions behind it, I I try to do my best to pour out those emotions from within, even though I'm not necessarily connecting myself with the song. The cause is there, but it's not fueled by an emotion. The cause is fueled by a desire for good. And it's not necessarily an emotion, right? So if you have this situation when you feel like I I don't have the emotion behind what I'm doing, that doesn't mean you're not being yourself. That doesn't mean you're not doing what's right. It doesn't mean that um, it's the wrong thing to do or anything like that, right? It just means you don't have the emotions behind it, and that's just what it is. It doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean it's good. In fact, one thing that can be very good about it, though, is that the emotions aren't polluting your concept. Because a lot of times, there are many, many artists out there that, as Joe phrased it, are loose cannons.
Mm.
They have these emotions, and then they're just firing off songs with whatever their emotion is. But then you hear the song, you're like, wow, this message is terrible. Or wow, this song makes me feel terrible.
Mm.
And it's like, how is that good? It's not. It's just someone's, pouring out their emotions into a song, but then that song gets out there and makes other people feel that emotion. And if that emotion and that message is bad, then I'm sorry, the song is bad. It's bad for people.
Mhm.
It's bad for them to hear it. So if you don't have that emotion, at least you're not going to fall victim to that line of hurting other people because you have these emotions you're writing with. Instead, you can have a clarity. You can have no fog and just write for the cause. So what you have at your fingertips is an advantage. And when you have that feeling of maybe you have that feeling of desire when you start writing, maybe you don't, but when you do, take it. Don't
Mhm.
stop, don't put the pen down. But if you don't, then sometimes you need to just start writing anyways, and something will come to you.
Mhm.
Many times when I'm writing music, and I hit a dead spot or I don't feel like doing it, as soon as I start doing it, or maybe not as soon as I start doing it, but like 30 minutes in, I'm like, okay, yeah, I've got this. All right. I'm cruising along now. Right. Um, Sometimes, just like I said before, that action creates the, um, the desire to continue, that, inspiration. Um, so, and if you're worried about being yourself, um, I can understand, a lot of us, we grow up and we experience times in our lives which are just packed full of high energy, emotions, joy. And we're like, yeah, this is who I am. I feel like, feel so self confident, feel so on top of myself. I feel great. This is who I am. But that's an emotion. And we've talked about this before. Emotions fade with time. We're not always on top with our emotions. Our emotions aren't always just, yeah, I'm awesome, right?
Mhm.
We're still us no matter what. No matter what you do in life, you are still you, Akil, and you are always yourself. Um, and you might, be yourself. What does that mean? It means be who you want to see yourself as being. You have someone in your mind. You have an idea of what the best kind of person is. Everybody has an idea of what the best kind of person is. Your calling is to be that. And that's you.
Mhm.
And that's the kind of person that you will be that you will be proud of being. The best kind of person
Mhm.
that you can be. Of course, we all make mistakes. None of us are perfect, obviously. But if you are if you are commanding yourself and you're getting yourself to do the things that you say, this is a good thing to do, I'm going to do that. That's you doing it. That's awesome. And that's who you are. So you got to do that. Um, You say, I actually rate actions of of a person first, and then a character would be born from it. Nice. That's actually really cool. I like that. Um, yeah. You know, I don't really have a whole lot to add to that. Joe, do you have anything else you want to say?
The only thing is, Akil, I sure do appreciate you, and
Yeah.
I want to make sure that you remember that you have so much to offer this world. I know you've been through some tough times. I know a lot of stuff has happened around you that's been really difficult.
Hmm.
And I just got to tell you, all of those things, maybe those were the things that you had to go through in order for you to be able to get to the depths of feeling, to be able to feel those things, empathize with other people. Maybe that's going to help you in your writing. I mean, I know that the biggest challenges I have are the best fuel for creating music. And I can imagine it's the same with you. The difficult times you're going through right now, the nightmares that you're having, all of those different challenges. that you're going through, it's going to be turned for something good if you want it to be. And I'm so glad you're here. And I hope that we help you out. I mean, you're here a lot. And I hope that when we address some of your stuff, I hope it helps. And I hope you keep sticking around because, I can't wait to see where you go. I can't wait to see what comes from this young man I know named Akil. So,
yeah, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you for being who you are, and thank you for being here with us.
Yeah, we're so proud of you, though. Also, seriously, we are very proud of you. And we're so happy that you're here with us. So, yeah, thanks for being here. You're awesome, Akil. Yeah. Okay. Well, that covers that one.
Yeah.
Hopefully that was helpful. I guess let us know. If any of that is helpful to your situation, if it maybe inspires you to want to write more. I hope it does. But if not, well, you'll get there eventually either way. I feel like that's the case.
If that doesn't help, we've got other challenges of yours listed here. Maybe we can help you on another one at some point.
Yeah. So is Bree's still here?
Bree is here.
Why don't we go head on to Bree's? Right? Is that what comes next? Unless Jack is here. I don't think Jack is here.
No, I don't think so. Bree is probably next.
All right.
Yeah. Bree, and this is called Too Much.
Too Much.
And look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
Oh.
Bang! Oh, I got the. Ooh, just barely.
Princess, this is first on mine. I knew. I was like, as soon as you start doing that, I'm like, she's gonna beat you.
She didn't though. I got mine in first, barely.
Oh, on my screen, hers is first.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Ah, she beat me.
It's hard.
I can't. Yeah. Okay. Hey, no problem, Princess. My hat's off to you. I'm not wearing a hat today.
He's not wearing his multicolor.
I know, Joe. Don't say your plans out loud. I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I should have just been really, really silent
about it. Yeah, you should have been.
I should have just boom. But I got too excited.
You got next time.
Yep.
Right. Anyhow, so here we go. This is from Bree. It's called Too Much. ... Ellipses. Okay, they wrote this. I'm nothing. I'm going numb. I'm thinking about just leaving, disappearing for good. No one will miss me and no one will care. I'm just drowning. I'm jealous, hurt, and just so done with everything. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know how to cope. Everything is going wrong. Everything. It hasn't been that long, not even 3 weeks, since everything's started to go downhill. First, my kitten died. Sorry, let me say that again. First, my kitten died. Then my parents fought and I got involved. Everyone is leaving. Everyone is just so happy without me. They're finding love while I'm left alone, an outcast. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of being second best. I'm tired of being alone. I'm tired of not fitting in. I'm tired of being the third wheel. I'm tired of living. I don't know how to handle this anymore, and I feel like everyone would just be better off without me. How do I handle this? Because it's just too much. And that's Bree's post. Keaton did reply to that. I'm not sure if you read it already, but it was posted only 2 hours after you posted this. So if you haven't checked it out, Bree, I would go back and see what Keaton had to say about it. I'm sure he had words of great wisdom. And she also loves you, as do we. But yeah, it's, sounds like, we are very depressed, and that's really unfortunate. And hopefully we can be here to help and support you. You know that we're always here to help and support you, and that we love you. So um, yeah, I'm gonna get out of Joe's way and uh, let him do his best to talk about this.
Mm.
And yeah, we're sorry, and we know you've been on here. You've always been here supporting us, so we really appreciate that, and
Hmm.
hopefully we can support you.
Yeah. Now, Bree, thank you for posting, and I'm so sorry to hear what's going on. I really wish that, you know, I could offer you some kind of magic uh, pill or some magic words that would you know, clear all this up for you. But I definitely know, I know how it feels to feel second best and to feel like an outcast and to feel lonely all through, pretty much all through high school. I had a couple of friends, and then, but mostly I was not, you know, I was kind of like off, did my own thing. I got bullied a lot and didn't really fit in. I tried, but didn't. And I got made fun of a lot. And it was really hard. So I definitely know, I know that feeling of being an outcast, and I also know the feeling of depression. I know the feeling of feeling trapped and like there's no way out, and like, man, everything would just be better off if I wasn't here. I remember saying that same thing to myself so many times. And you know, what I learned over time was it's simply not true that the world would be better off without any of us. It's not the case. The thing about each one of us is that we're unique and we're infinitely valuable. And you are too, Bree. I mean, you are infinitely valuable. And the thing about that is, because you are unique, and you have something really special to bring to the world. The world is so much of a better place because you are in it. Now, as you go through these challenges and you go through these times where it's super hard and super sad and challenging, I mean, wow, I mean, what's happening to you right now is you're being honed into somebody that's going to be a person of great power. I think I'm pretty sure that I've shared this sentiment with you before, maybe not in the same words or style, but you know, because you're going through these challenges and this darkness, this time of trial, it's all of that time can eventually be turned to something glorious and good and something that's going to help a lot of people. As you go through these challenges, later on, you're going to have something to offer people. In fact, you already do, because I feel your love for us when you come onto this stream. When you come on and you greet us, you say, "Hi, Ryan. Hi, Joe." And you always say Ryan's name first, which is perfect.
Joe likes to be second because you always got to save the best for last.
But you put your hearts on there and you say that you love us. Bree says, my mother told me yesterday that I'm different. She said I'm not the same person that I used to be, that I should take medicine. That that's an interesting diagnosis. Okay. And then she says, I took medicine. It didn't help. It only made me feel worse. You know, there's a therapist named Gregory Popcak. He's on. You can find him on EWTN radio. He's got a radio show. And one of the things that he talked about was he talked about therapy, the different kinds of therapy that are out there, and the effectiveness of the different kinds of therapy that are out there. And he said, some therapists prescribe medicine. And then that's the main part of their therapy, is just to prescribe the medication and let the medication do the work, and meet with them once in a while and then adjust their prescription or adjust the dosage and stuff like that. And they rely on the medication to try and help the person. And then there are therapists who use strictly, talking to someone, letting them talk, letting them vent their feelings, and then helping them through having a relationship with them. And, like not a romantic relationship, but like, a patient doctor relationship. And they use the interpersonal dialogue as therapy. And then there are therapists that use a combination of both. And he said, the interesting thing is, the people that got better were the ones that had the interpersonal therapy. They were always the ones that did better. And I think the results, if I remember correctly, I think the results were best when it had no medication and just the interpersonal, dialogue. I mean, medication can do some good things. That sometimes we have chemical imbalances that need to be dealt with, and medications can help with that. They can help kind of balance things out and get us right. In your case, it sounds like the medicine that you've had prescribed has not been helpful for you. It just made you feel worse. And if that's the case, maybe they're prescribing the wrong medicine, or maybe a therapist that will actually talk to you and listen to you and help you, with your thought processes. That's the type of therapist that can really help. Okay, and Bree updates. I talk to the school counselor and say most of the things that are on my mind, but I just can't open up. I can't open up to anyone anymore. Yeah, I know that can be really, really difficult to let your feelings out, to especially if you've been bitten before in the past, or if you've been dismissed, you've had your feelings just dismissed or told that they're not valid or something like that. That can be a really, really difficult thing too. And then it can shut off our ability to share. But the thing that's awesome, the thing that I'm grateful for, Bree, is that you're willing to share here with us. Even if you're not sharing the full extent of everything, even if you're sharing just a portion of it, whatever part you're willing to share with us, I'm so grateful that you're willing to do that. Mm-hmm. And I hope that it can be helpful for you. I hope that, just us dialoguing and allowing you to type out these things can help to some degree. I think actually being with a person face to face can be helpful too. I remember after I had a nervous breakdown and I was going through a lot of depression, I ended up seeing a psychologist, and he referred me. He couldn't write prescriptions because he wasn't a psychiatrist. He was just a psychologist. But so he basically recommended to my doctor that I get put on Paxil. And so I was on Paxil, but I was only on Paxil for a few months. And then for another year after I was off the Paxil, I was just seeing the therapist, and going through that process helped to turn me around. And what it really was, I look back and I think of that time period, and I'm like, you know what? What really was the thing that helped me out the most was that this guy was willing to listen to me, and he never, ever judged me, ever. He listened to my situation. He allowed me to say what was on my mind. He never told me I was wrong for having these feelings. But what he did was he helped me understand that what I was going through was not super abnormal. That the ways that one of the big problems in my situation was I had things I wanted to do that didn't match what I thought I was supposed to do. I thought I was supposed to follow a certain path in life, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to follow a different path, and I thought I was wrong, and there was this disconnect there, and that was a big that caused me a lot of stress, which then eventually led to a nervous breakdown and a depression. So, and panic attacks and all kinds of crazy stuff. But he helped me realize that no, that's a valid path. The one you want to follow, that's real. People have done that. And I remember that was the thing that really helped. He offered a little pieces of advice to help me feel like I was normal. To make sure, so I didn't feel like I was really, really off in left field. It's just like, no, this is normal. You're a person. You're fine. You're worthy. And if I can share the same thing with you, Bree, I hope that it can penetrate your heart. I know that you've got a lot of defenses up. I know that you've got, a lot of, you've been bitten by a lot of people in a lot of circumstances, and you've been hurt in a lot of ways. And I know that you have some defense mechanisms up right now. And I hope that some of this gets through to your heart. But Bree, I love you and I care about you. And I know Ryan does too. And I know a lot of these people in the chat do too. And you are a worthwhile person. The things you hope to do are worthy. And your life is worth having. And you're here to do something that's going to be impactful in the world in just a special, unique way. It might not be some super grand, huge thing, or it might be. I don't know. Interesting about that is sometimes, like, I always look for the grand thing. I always wanted to have this big achievement, big, huge successes and stuff like that. That was kind of always my thing, might be why I'm always constantly busy, because I'm always trying to strive after achievements. But do you know that one of the most venerated saints in history is a woman named Saint Therese of Lisieux? And she was always taking a back seat to everybody. It seemed like she was a nun. She had taken vows of consecrated life and stuff like that. And so but in her convent, she was like she was always backseat. She was always like the also ran, coming after everybody else. Everybody else had big things they were doing, and she always just did everything really little. And she's called the Little Flower because her goal became, I'm just going to do my little things, these little things in a holy way. I'm going to do these little things the best that I can do. And that's okay. And you know what's interesting is because that life she lived, she didn't live to be very old. I think she died in her early 20s. I think she had tuberculosis or something. But anyway, she became one of the most venerated and respected and honored saints in history. And she did everything little. It's incredible. But Bree, I guess I'm gonna wrap up my part and just say I love you, and I hope that you keep coming back, and I hope that you never hesitate to post. I mean, I know you're struggling, but remember that you're loved. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan. Ryan, what do you got?
Thanks for that, Joe. Yeah, Bree, you wrote, Ryan. Joe, do you remember what I told you about my biological father? I remember bits and pieces. So if you want to share something, go for it. Continue writing. But yeah, it's one of the last things Joe was talking about is in response to feeling like you're the third wheel or feeling second best, etc. And yeah, like Joe was saying, you don't need to be the best. um and in fact, you can never be the best in pretty much anything. And being the best doesn't matter. You're not designed to be your best. You're designed to be you.
Mm.
You're not designed to be the best at anything in particular. Your value never amounts to whether you're the best at something. Um, your value amounts to who you are, human, um, and created out of love and for love, and you're beautiful in that. Um, so here's a weird thing. We had a president. I don't remember how he said what the words he said were. President Clinton, um, and Bill Clinton. And one of the things he conveyed in his presidency, which I thought was actually really awesome. Now, of course, he did get impeached for doing some weird bad stuff, but it doesn't mean he's an evil person.
Mm.
Um, one of the things that he said, and I think it was about tennis or something, but um, we aren't designed to be the best. I forgot how he put it, but he put it really well. So if you look up President Clinton quotes, um, you can find it. I'm sure I could find it if I looked it up, but it went along the lines of um, life isn't about being the best at anything. It's just about being the best you that you can be.
Mm-hmm.
Because your value as a human being doesn't just increase because you were the best tennis player, or you're the best saxophone player, or you're the best at making jokes. And one thing that's really important is that how you see yourself shouldn't be dependent upon that either. How good you are at something shouldn't determine how you feel about yourself, because you are yourself, period. And you can hold the heart bar high in yourself and say, hey, this is what I want to achieve. But just because you're not there yet doesn't mean you're broken, doesn't mean that you're worth looking down upon. You're just you, and that's good. You're you, and that's a very good thing. Um, Bree, we appreciate that you're here and that you have so much love to share.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're struggling with all of this on by yourself, you still take time to share that love and give that love to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you are very friendly whenever I speak to you. So I really appreciate that about you. I like who you are, and um, I hope someday soon you get to like who you are too. I think a lot of depression is just dealing with that aspect of life. I don't, coming to like yourself. And I want to tell you that you're lovable, you're likable. Um, I love you. I like you. I think that you're a wonderful person, and I know a lot of other people do as well. Um, and so, if we can see you as someone we like, I hope you can see yourself as someone that you like as well. Um, I understand that that can be difficult, but don't let the difficulty stop you. Um, There are plenty of things that are worthwhile in life that are difficult. And the more difficult they are, usually the better they are. Um, the more worthwhile they are. Um, but yeah, in likewise, you feel alone and you feel like an outcast, but you're not alone, Bree. You're not alone. No one is alone. We're all here on this earth, and we all experience similar things. And there are people who are fighting for you that you do not know about, and you'll never meet them, but they're fighting for you
Mm-hmm.
because they love people. And there are people who you do know that want the very best for you, and they love you, and they like being around you. And even when you're around them, you might feel alone, and that's understandable. But remember that you're not actually alone. You are not alone.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you're not an outcast. Well, technically, we're all outcasts. Technically, we're all outcasts because none of us are the same. We're all different. We're all unique. We're all weird. And that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember when I realized that I was weird and I was an outcast. And then I decided I wanted to take pride in that. And I was like, I want to be the weirdest. Yeah, I'm weird. And so when everyone called me weird, I was like, that's the best compliment I could ever get. Thank you. Thank you for calling me weird. Because I am weird. And I like that. So, yeah. This is, you said about your father that that they try to contact you, try to get in touch. And now you say, you know, you hate that you miss him. You miss the few times that he was an actual human being, few times when it felt like he loved me, times when he didn't hit me or yell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, here's the thing, Bray. No human being is perfectly evil, and no human being is perfectly holy.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, you know, we'd like to be. Your dad is a human being. And sometimes he acts like it, and sometimes he doesn't. Forgiveness is important. That doesn't mean, now, forgiving someone doesn't mean you don't need to go put yourself in a situation of self-harm. But forgiveness is important. And you miss him. That is totally good. That's a good thing. But I want you to be careful. That's all. You know, giving him a chance is good. All right. So if you consider giving him a chance, I would take that up. But distance yourself emotionally from it. Because when you take a chance on something, it doesn't mean you go all in. It means that you're testing the waters, you're testing it out. And if you make yourself vulnerable to it, then, you know, that might not be a good thing. And I don't mean to say you need to erect walls everywhere in your life. It's better to knock the walls down, because then when things come at you, you realize, hey, I'm strong enough to deal with it. Right. And that's where I want you to be. I think that's where you want to be. You want to be able to take chances on these things, on, you know, give people chances, forgive people, but at the same time, be strong enough when you need to forgive them again. Because you probably will. Because none of us are perfect. Your father, like I said, is a human being.
Mm-hmm.
They make mistakes. And not only do they make mistakes, they regret them. And sometimes, like, I have a father, by the way. I could bring up things that he did that were terrible in the past. But you know what? My father doesn't remember a single one of them, because he was drunk during every single one. And he doesn't remember him. I've brought him up before, briefly, like, you know, he doesn't remember him. And he's like, that's crazy. You know, I was this kind of person. Yeah, okay. Sure you were. Nice. Yeah. But you know what? It doesn't matter. He he doesn't remember it. So I'm glad that he doesn't have to remember that,
Mm.
because I wouldn't want to have him remember those things because they were terrible. Um, yeah, you said he held a gun to your head, and yet there's still part of me that wants to see him one last time. You know, I think that part of you inside is a person that wants to give people chances,
Mhm.
a person that wants to give a chance to someone who messed up and wants to have that situation turn out better than it turned out to be, a good ending and not a bad one, not one that makes you just hate the person for all your life. If he's come in touch with you and he wants to see you, if you can tell that he's sorrowful and he wants to make good on his past, that's a beautiful thing. And that's something worth trying.
Mhm. Yep, and you might in this with the circumstances you've been through, it might be best to connect over the phone first.
Hmm. I would say,
Test the
yeah,
waters there.
test the waters. See if he's sorrowful, if that's the reason. See if he wants to actually, you know, be good, be a good human being.
Mhm.
Um,
And
yeah,
that may be where it gets left. It may get left at the phone conversation
it
level,
might.
at least
Mhm.
for a while. So, I mean,
Yep.
that with that kind of past that you're not sure, but yeah, I love what Ryan was saying, that shows that you're somebody who is willing to give somebody a chance, and that's
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. We love you, Bree.
Mhm.
Love you, and we hope everything there goes well. We hope for the very best. But regardless, yeah, take it safe. Take it safe. Um,
Yep. Speaking of beautiful, uh, Bree, um,
we're happy to deal with you
oh my
because
gosh, yes.
dealing with you is no issue to us. We're happy to have you around.
Yeah, Bree, if you go to your post, please read Keaton's response. I'm going to read it out loud because it deserves to be read out loud. I was reading that while you were speaking, Ryan,
Perfect.
and I'm going to read it out loud. It says, Keaton writes, I think reaching out like you do is a good way to try and make it through these moments. I see many people reach out to you and try to be there for you. That means you are worth it to them. We don't have to be strong all the time. We can be weak. We can be lost. We can feel hurt and afraid. During those times, it's okay to rely on people. Let those people help you. I see you fighting people when they reach out to you, which I can understand. It's hard to see positive when so much negative is going on. Let those people lead you to a brighter future. Let those people be strong for you. Let those people help walk you through what is going on. You don't even have to say anything. Let them just lend you a shoulder. Let them just be there for you. I see you there for others. I see you smile for people and be strong for them. I see you do so much. Please, I know it's hard. I know it's easy to just want to disappear. I've been there. I think most of us have been there at some point.
Hmm.
So when they reach out to you, please try to let them hold your hand. Let it happen. You don't have to even agree with what they are saying. You don't have to acknowledge them yet. Just let them do for you what you do for them. Please try. You are worth so much more to so many people. You are someone cherished. You are more than you think you are. Just let them show you. With all my love and positive feelings, Keaton.
Thanks for that, Keaton. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
Keaton. I have a new policy for doing Don't Worry Wednesday. I'm going to forget everything I was possibly going to say and just
I just
read Keaton's responses.
there we go. So, hey, my name's Joe. I just read the responses that Keaton says
Yes.
because they're really good. They are. Yeah, that's awesome.
Uh, Keaton, that is so beautiful. No,
No.
LOL.
Um, but yeah, I really like what she was saying because let me tell you, there's some truth in that. There are many times in my life where I had to just let go of myself and let other people lead me.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I did that when I was broken, the more they helped fix me and made me feel whole again. Um, Even though there's so many times when we want to accomplish something, and there's so many times in life where we have to do it ourselves. There's so many times in life where it's like, it's me. I have to fix this. It's
Mm.
broken inside, and I'm the only one inside of myself, and I have to fix this. But let me tell you, that's not always the case. You can let other people in, and other people can help. I know that, oh my gosh, I would be a completely different person. I would be way more broken, way more just like suffocating myself if I didn't have wonderful people in my life, like my brother, like my mom, like Joe, like all the people that I've never even gotten the chance to meet. Some of them I have, just briefly, just brief moments. But every once in a while, letting somebody in and change me inside. They say something, I'm like, yeah, I could argue with that. But if instead I just listen to them and try it, or if instead I just listen to them and don't even have to do anything, just hear it, um, things start moving more smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
So there are times when I know that everybody likes to say that only they can change themselves, or only you can change yourself. Um, and while that is mostly true, it's not always true. And there are times when relying on others can totally be night and day difference in ourselves. Um, there are many times where I need to take a back seat to myself.
Mm.
It's funny because I'm the one that's supposed to be in control of myself. But if I take a back seat and listen to somebody else, my life usually goes better because their ideas are better than mine. Usually it's like my brother's ideas. He's like got these ideas and I'm like, yeah, I could do that, or I could just do something else. And then I'm like, yeah, what if I do what he tells me to do? Then he has to take responsibility for it. And well, you know what? He's never led me wrong before, so I just try it. And then I do, and I'm like, wow, that worked out really well. Um, it's so cool. Thanks, bro. There are many times in my life where I had to take a back seat to where I was heading, to where what I felt about myself, or what my thoughts were, or my thinking, and listen and rely on others, because we're all here with each other. No matter how alone we feel, no matter how um, how separated we feel from others, we're always here with other people, and those other people want to contribute to you in your life.
Mm-hmm.
They so desire to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And to let them do so isn't going to hurt you. A lot of times it makes us into better people. So
Yeah. Keaton, you really even spoke to me in this. Like, I was like fighting back tears when I was reading. We don't have to be strong all the time. We can be weak. We can be lost. We can be hurt and afraid. And I know that's something that I have a challenge with in my life a lot, and that is to always feel like I need to be responsible and always need, like, it's on me. Like, I got to do it. I got to do it. I got to be the one to do it. And I forget that it's okay when I feel weak and afraid. That's okay. And
that's true.
I thank you so much for that, Keaton.
Yeah, thank you, Keaton. That was really good. I remember a time when I literally got lost and I couldn't help but smile because I was like, man, I'm so lost. This is awesome. Like, I'm literally in the woods. I have no idea where I am. No idea how to get home. It's hilarious. Awesome. I'll find my way. I'll just walk in one direction and eventually I'll see something.
Yeah, something.
Towards where I need to be, And you know what? Yeah, I'm lost, but that's all right. It's cool. But yeah.
Well, yes, Keaton, we saw that you posted a topic. And looks like you're one of the next on the list, so we'll probably be able to get to you on Wednesday if you're with us.
Yeah.
But
We are at the end of our show, unfortunately.
yeah.
We'd like to go on, but time continues on. So dun 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 to be continued. Um, coming to theaters near you. Yeah, I like it. I like it, Mimini. Excuse me. So yeah. Oh, Princess says to pre-read it. Is it lengthy? That's
Uh-huh.
fine. Anyways, yeah, so this is the end of our show. Thank you all for joining us and being here with us, sticking around and showing your support. All of the comments in the chat that are enduring and helpful to each other. I know that a lot of you had great comments and things to say on specific topics like writing or dealing with stress or all sorts of different stuff you guys are talking about in the comment section. So we appreciate every bit of that. You guys are so awesome. We love you, much love. Princess, thank you so much for being our hostess in the chat, welcoming people in and putting up the links. Jesse, thank you so much for being our producer, for putting the topics up there for us. I don't know if anybody knew that he does that, but he's the one that in that corner up here, over here. Actually, it's right here, probably right there. He puts those messages there, and he also also makes us go live and everything like that. So thanks for doing that, Jesse. Oh, was it the other side? You know what? Don't worry about my directionless, guys. I don't. Sorry, actually,
It's
okay.
over there.
On my screen, this is the right side of my screen, and this is my right
one. It's actually up there. Am I pointing in the right direction, Jesse?
Right direction.
Am I pointing in the right direction?
See, here's the thing, guys.
It's right up there.
I am pointing at Joe's finger on my.
This is Ryan.
I'm pointing at Joe's finger that he's controlling with his left hand, or is that his right hand? I don't know. Even though
I can do one of these like little.
Joe, just move your finger a little bit closer, and I can touch your finger to my finger. Look at it. Finger touching. Okay.
See?
Here,
I
now,
give Ryan a little slap on the backside.
What is that, man? That was weird.
What? Nice. What? No, this is a dab.
Don't you do dabbing, darn it. What is that? What is that?
That's the seated flosser.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes.
Ryan. Bree so much wants me to dab. Ryan, dab.
I would not be a good dance tutor.
I like it.
Although, an interesting thing, I was at martial arts the other day, yesterday actually, and one of the things they had us do in warming up was do cartwheels around the floor. And
Did you?
And I was doing cartwheels, and the and the instructor said, "That's very majestic, Mr. Anderson."
Why? Why would he call you out like that?
Well, there are things like apparently, a lot of the things I do, I always try to be very smooth with just about everything. In swimming and in music, a lot of the stuff I do is just very smooth and everything like that. And it's the same there. When I do specialty kicks and all that kind of stuff, I have fellow students that look over there like, "That's so graceful. You do that kick so gracefully." And I'm like, "Yes, I'm like a swan. Thank you."
Nice.
Like a swan with my tornado round kick followed by a spinning hook kick.
Well, a graceful tornado round kick sounds good. Sounds like it's a good
thing. Bree says dabbing will make her
really happy. Let me tell you what will make you happy. Me drinking my hot cocoa. Ooh, the happiness fills within you. Hot cocoa touches my tongue. And it happiness into your soul. The happiness you feel from my hot cocoa drinking exceeds that of all dabs of all love sensations that you could possibly feel. Hot cocoa. Happiness.
Wait. Vimini says if you dab, they'll have to cleanse their eyes out with holy water.
Oh, wow. I'm getting
That's
very
not
mixed.
I will say it's not a bad idea to have holy water on hand.
Yeah, and especially in your eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a weird place to put it, to be honest. Yes. But having holy water on handle is very nice. Yeah. Throw it around your-
I'm passing the chance to be a swan dancer. Yes.
Okay, so continue. How are your cartwheels so graceful? Like they weren't clunky, they weren't just like probably.
Yeah, they were just smooth. They were just very they were steady and smooth and decent form, I suppose.
Nice. So he was like, wow, those cartwheels, very majestic.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yes, they're very majestic. But that's Mr. Hauser. He's an awesome instructor.
Nice.
He's really laid back. He's just like, that's very majestic, Mr. Anderson.
Are you complimenting me or are you insulting me?
Oh, that's awesome.
That is awesome. Bray, perhaps someday I shall dab for you. All right. Okay. Anyways, thank you all for joining us today. Appreciate your involvements. As the wise Derek used to say when he was on here. I miss that guy. He's awesome. Anyways, we appreciate you guys, and we are so blessed to have you around. And we'll see you next time on Wednesday. Somewhere Wednesday. It's gonna be a great day. We love you guys. Bye-bye.